All right, man, let's start talking about deloads. Deloads are very important, and I say this all the time, and a lot of people miss the point with this because they don't do it. Like, you'd be shocked how many people don't even know about this. You know, when I was working at the gym 4.5 years, like, I talked with so many people, and they'd always complain about, man, my shoulder's hurting real bad, man. Like, what is it? And you had other people, I was with them, that they were telling me, like, yeah, man, just external rotation and shit. That's like, bro, have you done a deload? And then they would be like, what is that? And I'm like, okay, now it makes sense. These people were training for like fucking months on end, and they never took a break. They never took a deload. They tried to completely progress over this time, bro, just constantly going at it. And obviously what's gonna happen is you're gonna accumulate a fuck ton of fatigue, and you're gonna experience a lot of symptoms. And people will try to fix these symptoms, by completely missing the point. They don't understand like fatigue. And, these days it's getting better, but still a lot of people don't even know about this. So I figured I'd make a video about it, just kind of explaining this because this is really important. Like deloads are an essential tool to keep progressing over time and avoid injuries. Like obviously, if you keep going, you keep beating yourself up, you're going to increase the risk of injury and you're going to feel like shit. And you won't be able to progress anymore. You're going to actually get weaker. I'll get to that. Because fatigue accumulates over the course of a mesocycle, and we need to drop it. Of course it does. Like, the goal is, I talked about this in my last video, obviously, to keep progressing all the time. Like, so always shoot for it, get stronger, add sets, add reps, add weight, That's what's going to actually make you fucking grow muscle. And you can't keep doing that if you fucking accumulate so much fatigue, Like, you're going to accumulate fatigue. Like, I talked about this in my last video, too. Like, the reps that are closer to failure grant you more muscle growth. This is a bigger stimulus, but also they accumulate way more fatigue, so you can't keep doing them. You need deloads. That's what I'm talking about. It's really important. So we're gonna talk about this, and this is just like a little graph that I made. It's not the fucking best, but you get the point, right? Like you start out here with low sets, not that close to failure, and you keep doing more volume, you keep doing higher intensity, training closer to failure, and it just keeps rising up. And you obviously can't keep going like that. Your body's just not meant for that. Your body's not built for that. You're gonna fucking feel horrible. Like, because usually at 3 or 4 weeks of consistent progression, your fatigue will be really high. In some muscle groups more than others, probably. You're going to experience joint pain, soreness, and you're not going to be able to beat last session's performance. And that should be a sign for you that you've accumulated a fuck ton of fatigue. Or not a fuck ton, but, quite a bit of fatigue. And you should be doing something about it. So what we do about that is you could do, this is optional. Like, obviously, this could be a lot to think about for a lot of people, but you could do a recovery session. What is a recovery session? It's just a session where you get some blood flowing, dude. Like extremely low intensity. You do half the sets, half the reps, and half the weight. This is basically a warm up throughout the whole fucking workout, and you're gonna be done really quickly, and you're not gonna fucking fatigue your body doing that. And what this allows you to do is just to kind of reset a bit, and next session you're going to keep going. And the next one is going to be like week one volume, but still increase the weight and reps, right? Like you're going to be doing a little bit less volume of what you used to be doing, like up until that point, because you've been increasing it. You put it down a bit to the week one value we started at, and you start progressing again, and you should be able to do so for some time at least, But at some point, dude, you're gonna have to take a deload week. Like usually after 4 to 8 weeks, something like that, you're gonna have to take a deload week. It's just the way it is. And this is the reason, like, people don't understand this, people don't do this, and this is why they get joint pain all of a sudden and they feel really fatigued, Like fatigue will accumulate to a point where you need to give your body some rest. You just need to. Otherwise you're not gonna get any bigger, any stronger. You're gonna grow weaker. Like you'll feel beat up. Mentally you'll feel beat up. Like you'll feel like, man, I don't want to train today. Like that should be a sign. Like if you experience joint pain, soreness, like you feel lethargic, your sleep suffers, loss of appetite, stuff like that, highly likely that you're gonna benefit from a deload. Okay, so what is a deload week? We have it right here. You do half the sets, half the reps, and half the weight. Well, same weight. I already hear same weight. This is how I like to do it, but it depends. Like you could be doing half, you could be doing half the sets, half the reps, and half the weight for the first half of the deload week, and the second half you do the same weight, but also for half the sets and half the reps. I've been doing it with the same weight. I've been feeling good doing that. You can decide on how you feel basically, but this is gonna help massively. Like you'll feel way better. Your joints are gonna feel better. Stuff like that. If you are in a position where you've been doing this for months and this is the first time you've been hearing about this and you feel joint pain and you feel really bad, like really fatigued and shit, Like what I recommend you to do, I recommend you to do this every year, once per year, to do an active rest period of 2 weeks, where you basically don't train at all. It's all good. If you don't train at all, don't hit the gym at all, that's fine. Or you go to the gym and do a very light workout, a few push-ups or something, and that's it. Okay? So, and you can do this perfectly if you're on vacation. Okay? Just mentally switch off. This is for the mind and the body. You just switch off completely. You're just setting yourself free of all the fucking stresses of life, and you just fucking relax. Okay? And this is gonna be massive because this almost completely resets your systemic fatigue, and you'll notice like when you come back into the gym, like you feel so much better. Like when I first started doing this, it's actually really insane. It's gonna be a massive boost. Okay, so like people that do deloads over time, they're gonna build more muscle. It's just the way it is, you know. So yeah, man, you're gonna have to fucking take a look at this and actually just implement it because you have it right here. This is how it works. It's actually really easy. You know, this is nothing that's hard. You know, this is going to be a very easy week. It's just the mental aspect of you're going to think like, yo, I'm not making any progress. Like, I'm not training very hard. You just got to switch that out. Like, you're not going to lose muscle at all. Okay. Like, if you don't train at all, only after like 3, 4 weeks are you going to start losing muscle. It is the way it is. The reason you may look in the mirror and be like, man, I'm losing muscle. Perhaps it's your diet, or it's just your muscles don't look as full because you're not using them, you know? Some water goes out, whatever it is, but you're not really using any solid, you're not losing any solid tissue. Trust me on that. Because there's been times where I've had not trained that for that long injury wise and shit. And, you know, it took me quite a while to actually lose muscle, and it's very slow too. So this goes for when you're sick too. Like, don't stress about this. Rather take a couple more days off or another week off if you're sick before you go in and fucking cook yourself completely and, you know, have your fucking shit go systemic. You don't want that, okay? So yeah, man, this is basically it. Like, a short video about deloads because I think this is really important. And if more people understood this, I think more people would be making more progress or better progress at the gym, to be completely honest. Like, that's just the way I feel about it, okay? So yeah, any questions, let me know down below. This has been it for me today.